Hey guys, Empanada Report here, your number one source for all the news that you could ever possibly need. I've never seen anything that better shows the USA's attitude towards the rest of the world than what just happened yesterday during Donald Trump's State of the Union address. Who was there as a special guest? Juan Guaidó, who is the self-declared President of Venezuela. Now, in Venezuela itself, he has absolutely no legitimacy nor claim to that title, because he's never won or even run in an election, he's never held nor exercised any power, and he's never been sworn in as such. But never fear, apparently he doesn't need to be sworn in before the Venezuelan Congress to be president, he doesn't need to win an election to be president. All he has to do is go into the US Congress, and then he will receive a standing ovation from all of the US politicians that you can imagine, bipartisan, and that I guess makes him the president of Venezuela, which is, well, a different country. The US doesn't care that this guy has absolutely no legitimacy whatsoever. They don't care about elections, they don't care about letting the Venezuelan people dictate their own future. They're shoving this guy in your face anyway, literally coronating him as if they choose who your president is, as if Venezuela is their territory. And you better like it. Wow. But wait, there's more. Even better than that, a story that kind of went under most people's radars in the last couple of days. I just about died laughing when I saw the headline. Guaidó rallies Venezuelan expats in Miami at end of tour. Venezuela's Juan Guaidó told a large crowd of cheering expatriates in Miami on Saturday that he will soon make his return to Caracas from an international tour, bringing with him the world's backing to oust President Maduro. Yeah, he also said he had that like a year ago and it didn't help, so not really sure what he plans. The opposition leader, bent on unseating the socialist president, however, presented few details for executing this plan upon returning, referring to additional sanctions as a major strategy available. During this rally, he also literally said the words, "Miami is Venezuela," which is just hilarious. Most Venezuelans could never even hope to afford a plane ticket to the USA. Actually, most would just plain be rejected for a visa straight up, even if they could afford it. Yet this guy asserts that Miami, the bastion of rich, privileged expats, is Venezuela. Unbelievable, he could not possibly be more out of touch with the average person. This is absolute peak Latin American right wing. It simply does not get any better. Every single stereotype you can possibly imagine is at play here. You've got the unpopular opposition politician directly supported by the USA, the ridiculous yet soothing idea that he's got the world on his side, even though about 130 countries still maintain relations with Venezuela and thus by de facto consider Maduro its president, and absolutely no details as to what the hell he plans to do beyond more sanctions, which aren't things that he's gonna do, that's what the USA is gonna do. So what, is he the USA? And of course, more sanctions just means more suffering for his people. He definitely cares about them though. Unfortunately, the peasants will have to have their suffering weaponized so that King Guaidó can be crowned. And the icing on the cake, the coup de grace, the best thing I've ever seen in my life if I'm being honest. A rally held by an active Latin American politician in goddamn Miami, Florida, the United States of America. Imagine if a US politician went to campaign in Russia or something, that's basically what this is. In case you don't understand why this is so funny, let me explain. Back in the 50s, 60s and 70s, there was a lot of migration of rich Latin American people to Miami, and it became this sort of enclave of people, quote unquote, fleeing leftist governments, beginning with the Cuban Revolution. It's sort of natural that this happened because, well, the USA is incredibly right-wing and so are the rich Latin Americans who move there. They're an extremely useful propaganda tool for the USA as they're all, "Hello, my grandfather's slaves were stolen by Fidel Castro, so the USA should be hostile towards Cuba." They pretend that they have their finger on the pulse of the average person who in reality they have nothing but contempt for, just because of their nationality or that of their parents or grandparents. And today it's now even more of a destination for that same thing. If you're rich, some leftist government is raising taxes on you, Miami is your destination. So now Miami is basically the symbol of the upper and upper middle class in the region, particularly in the Caribbean and the eastern side of Latin America, because it's the closest and cheapest flight. It's also the #1 destination for tasteless, well-off tourists who constantly spend the average person's yearly salary on trips there, a lot of the time just to go shopping or visit Disney World or whatever. So even though it's in the USA, Miami and also Florida in general are really emblematic of the continental class divide. So for Guaidó to go there and literally proclaim Miami as a part of Venezuela, I've never seen such a complete lack of self-awareness, but at least he knows his base. Not actual Venezuelans in Venezuela who are suffering right now from the sanctions and the hostility that he brings to the country by allying with literally Donald Trump, but rather rich people totally insulated from the crisis, who probably wouldn't even return to Venezuela ever in their lives except to visit anyway, because they're too busy enjoying their privileged lives in Miami. What a week for mask-off right-wing moments in the region, and they've all come from the one guy. This is Ruben, the official, real president of both Venezuela and Iowa. Yes, Pete, we're on to you. Saying goodbye for now.